Okay, so I decided to Centrotec one of my bit here that I normally would use in a hex driver, and I thought I would go ahead and record this so you could see how easily it's done. Now, what this one here is, it has a 1/4 inch square on the end, and this is used for using 1/4 inch sockets. It's really nice to be able to drive these with your C12 or any of the Festool drill drivers, especially that you could, if you had it on a Centrotec chuck, you could then take better advantage of the 90-degree chuck or the eccentric chuck. Now, of course, it'll fit in those other chucks, but it won't lock into place. So this is a much more convenient way of doing it. So what I'm going to do is to figure out where it's going to need to go to fit into this Centrotec chuck. I'm going to use an existing Centrotec bit. Right, so you line these two up side by side, and we're going to just mark where one of the differences is this. Basically, the ball detent is in a different location on Centrotec chucks. It's up a little bit higher. Where the ball detent is on my existing bit is actually where there's a wire detent on the Festool. So if we put these two side by side, I'm just going to mark on this surface with some red. Now, because I'm going to be putting this in a drill, I don't actually have to mark all the faces, but I will. Actually, you can see a little bit of red on there already because I did this and then decided to record it. So what we're trying to do is just mark where we're going to have to drill, or excuse me, file out this recess. There we go. Now we're going to take this over to the drill press, chuck it up, and then take a file to this round part here to create this groove. It also turns out that on a standard 1/4 inch bit like this, it's slightly more round on these corners on a Centrotec chuck than on a standard one here. So we're going to have to actually try this and see. And you can see it's not going in. So this is one of the ones that has corners that are just too pointy. We're going to hit that with a file too. This is fairly quick to do. It depends on how hard the metal is. If you're doing a Krieg drill bit, like here for the pocket screws, this is made out of diamonds, I swear. It took quite a while to get this one done. But most of these other ones, they go pretty quickly. So let's go over to the drill press. So here at the drill press, what I'm going to do is chuck this up. I want as much of the portion I need to grind away sticking out. There we go. We're going to keep this Centrotec chuck around so we can do it for reference and see how we're doing. I have a couple mill files here, 3 mill files. Actually, a large flat one. This is going to be to round those edges a little bit. And I have a smaller one here that has a bit of a half round on it. And then a triangular one. I found before that I use this triangular one to get the depth in there, and then I go back to round with this. But you play it by ear. So I'm going to keep it at a pretty low speed, but let's see how this goes. It doesn't actually take much to get that part to go in, and I like to be on the side of it being tight, so we'll keep trying it. It's getting close. seemed like it was close before because the first part goes on, but... Alright, now it's going in. It's not going in the whole way because we're going to go ahead and do the cutting up here, and then after that we can flush that down a little bit more. Seeing that I might end up flushing some of these edges a bit as I do the ball detent, I don't want to flatten that out yet. Besides, I'll end up taking out my beautiful red lines. Using the triangular file right now, so I can try getting the cut into it. I'm only running this on 400 RPM. Most likely, you could do it faster. All right. Let's try this one here first. Much better. I might turn a bowl on this a little later just for fun. Switching to the round one to try giving you out a little bit of a roundness. Let's see how we're doing. One thing, there's nowhere near enough ball detent removed. Yeah. So we'll keep going to this one. The Centrotec bit so we can take a look and see how we're doing. Now I know it's nowhere near deep enough, but mostly what I care about is I want to make sure that I haven't drifted too far. Whoops. It always goes the furthest place you can. I just want to make sure also that I'm not going too far away from the detent hole. Nope, I'm right on. Good, good, good. Now I'm positive this is not going to lock yet. Nope. So let's go ahead and chuck it up and keep going. I'm trying to take that roundness off so it'll insert. Now that I've got that detent started, the files will tend to ride the detent. Although I'm not doing very well with that either. That looks like we got it. I'm already done. It's only been, well, it's been less than 5 minutes on the recording time. So there we go. And that's a nice snug fit too. I like it like that. I don't want it to be loose. If you go a little too crazy with filing the sides, it'll there'll be a little bit of a looseness. Now, not enough that it's going to matter in a handheld power drill when you're, especially when you're using it for a socket. But yeah, there you have it. So you can tell that it worked because when you insert this in, if it did not work, this would remain down. You can see that little bit of a gap there. It would remain down. But I happened to get this one actually pretty quickly, and the ball detent is in place, and you can't take that apart. Pull it down, and it comes out. It's still a little on the snug side for that, but the few times I use this, I would actually rather it be a snug. There you go.